Appreciate that. So thank you for everything you've done. Also, we had a lot of teachers. We had many, many teachers complete the survey we sent out. About 125 teachers completed that, and that's really great to see what teachers all over the district are doing, and teachers all have their own model. So thank you so much for completing that survey. Also, I'm happy to support support teachers over the break. If you need help with getting things going, please feel free to contact me. I'm just going to put myself out there. My email is over here on my board in the back. And I'm happy to do some one-to-one Zoom meetings on anything that I can help you with. Also today, one thing that I think are looking for, if you feel like you're an expert on something, if you're really good at something and you are also willing to help other teachers with that thing that you're so good at, let us know. You know, if you're an expert, you can put it in the chat, you could email us, but we do want to know who feels really confident helping other teachers be successful in the district. And we want to cooperate and help each other out, collaborate. We want to collaborate and help each other out as much as possible. So before we get started, yep, I see that definitely people are interested in Zurn. And if you are an expert in Zurn, then you might be able to help us out today, help out another teacher today. But I'm going to turn it over to Mark, because Mark has some things he wanted to talk about as well. So Mark, are you there, Mark?
Yes, ready to go. Thanks, Chris. Hey, and I want to echo what Chris was mentioning there, that you know, we really do embrace in any sort of opportunity when we have teachers get together that you all bring expertise to the table. And so we really do want to encourage you to share your ideas, to share what you know, because none of us are 100% experts on everything. And so we really are looking and reaching out for that extra information that you might be able to provide for other teachers. So thank you in advance. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen right quick and talk a quick 2 minutes about a couple things that many of you may already know about, but I want to make sure that everybody has an idea. And since we're recording this, we'll be able to post this onto the website. So you should be able to see my screen now. I do want to reference the e-learning website. It's constantly being updated. Things are being added on a regular basis. Under teachers, most of you know that the distance learning PD schedule is located at this link, and most of you got to this PD through this means. We're looking, EdTech coaches are talking a little bit about what sort of supports will happen after break as well. So stay tuned and keep tabs on this site. In addition, you can find any specific office hours, including this one, will be posted in this location. You can check out some of the math office hours we had a couple days ago as well for additional information. And finally, the last thing I want to show you on this is scanning. Resources by content. If you go to mathematics, there's K-12 resources here on this embedded document, including some how-to videos. If you're interested in setting up Zurn, which we think is a really great program to be using at this time, there is a webinar you can check out, as well as a whole bunch of information on that link, along with some other items that we find high value and useful for you at this time. The thing that we're really pushing in EdTech is that we're focusing on free items at this time, not the free for now items. Many teachers are using the free for now, which is understandable, but we want to be able to offer items that are of quality and are free forever, that we really want to have teachers try out, so that when the new school year comes out, you aren't stuck with having to know a program that has to be paid for. And we're really pushing the less is more idea as well. The other thing I want to share with you is the UTR communication. All of you've gotten this document from your UTR leader. And a few things that we find really of value is just keeping in mind as you're doing distance learning that the lesson design that you practice in your classroom can still happen online. So these 4 principles, we really encourage you to practice as you're learning this new distance learning features. And what I also find of interest is the theory of action and some of the overviews of distance learning and what it means. Finally, the last item that Chris referenced to was the survey that we sent out to elementary teachers. How are you delivering instruction? You can take a look at how teachers are delivering instructions. I want to point out a couple things that aren't showing right now. Here's big ideas. Khan Academy, 40%. Here's iExcel, Google Classroom, Zoom, and Zurn. And then we didn't have Class Dojo as one, but apparently there's quite a few teachers that are doing Class Dojo as well that I noticed. Secondly, is how are you communicating with students? This gives you an idea. Oh, there's Class Dojo. That's where I was looking at it. So that gives you a feel for what teachers are using throughout the district. And finally, about what percentage of your students are participating on a regular basis. This is qualitative analysis by teachers, but gives you an idea as to where we're at. And we always need to keep in mind as to what families and kiddies are dealing with in their homes. So understanding that we may not get full participation based on their situation at home. So that being said, let me go ahead and turn it back over to Chris.
Yes, fantastic. So I'm just going through here. I wanted to say, I can see there's a lot of questions about Zurn, but I wanted to answer the first one. Someone was talking about, let's see, I forget who it was, but it was Stephanie Wagner was talking about the difference between iExcel and Zurn. And I think that there were some great answers that Zurn is really a complete instruction program for grade level math and standards and concepts. And iExcel is more of a way to track your students' skills. But the good thing is that they both do have they have ways to check progress. You can monitor student progress. And that's one of the big things I think we're working on right now is, for example, if we're doing my math, how do we check student progress? And that's something I would like to talk a little bit about today. But thank you for those answers about iExcel. Gloria Renardson from King, she asked, she's interested in Zurn. She said, I'm not sure if it's a good idea to start something right now. I would say it is a good idea to to figure out a way that you're going to be able to monitor your students' progress over the next 3 months. And if that's something that, if you're confident, you feel confident to start something like Zurn, I think that that's going to be able to give you feedback on how your students are doing, along with lots of other, platforms that can do that. Like, for example, if you use Google Classroom, or if you're using Flipgrid, or if you're using Seesaw, those are all platforms that you can use in different ways to check progress. But Zurn and iExcel are both ways that you can actually, really see it sort of in a chart, as well as on the Big Ideas platforms. Okay. And I think that we definitely would love to see, Jillian Anderson said that she would be an expert, or she said she'd be able to help out with Zurn. Jillian, if you want to show us if you want to open up your Zurn account, we could take a look at that. I know that Tracy's ready to show a little bit about Zurn. Tracy, did you want to share your screen and just
Sure.
do a quick Zurn thing?
So in the chat, I also posted a YouTube video about how to access reports. Let me present my screen. Share. Okay. So on my Zurn homepage, you'll see this screen. It has a short overview video, how to get your login information to students. There's a helpful weekly schedule to show you how you might use Zurn when making your weekly math plan. When I go up to reports, currently I don't have a class, so I'm not going to see great reports, which is why we're calling on teachers who actually have students to share that. But in the webinar I attended for Zurn, they were recommending that the tower alerts would be the place to see where students are really getting stuck. So the tower of power is where students have to master the skill if they're going to be able to move on to the next lesson in the next mission. So if this was the case that a student is getting stuck and they're just stuck, what I can do is actually alter their mission. So I can go into my roster and see my class. I just have a fake class. But if I wanted to change where somebody is, I select their name and choose change lesson. So if I see on reports that someone is really behind or really ahead, I could change their lesson to be either a grade level below or a grade level above, or I might just even want to scoot them along in the topic. So I can use the reports to then make decisions on if I would like to move people if they're getting stuck or if they need some challenge. So I don't have great reports because I only have a fake class of 8 people, but it would be great to see a real class. And I just also wanted to share with you, they have an entire distance learning checklist on their homepage about getting started. So if you haven't set up an account at all, then on the Zurn homepage, there's getting started videos. Another place for Zurn support is on our math resources page that Mark shared earlier. So when you go to the math resources for teachers, Zurn is the first thing, and we've got a webinar recording that's specifically talking about intervention. So I would recommend watching this webinar to learn about how you might change lessons for your students based on if they're struggling. And maybe Jillian is ready. I'm going to stop presenting.
Right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Tracy. Yes. That's okay. And Jillian, thank you. Thank you for. Oh, Jillian, do you need to
I think it's just
unmute
to
your mic?
unmute.
Do you know how to go down to the bottom of the screen and click, and the white band comes up, and you can unmute yourself, possibly? I'm hearing a phone ring somewhere. So it could be, I think that's Abby.
Hello?
Abby Schultz, can you mute yourself, please? There we go. Okay, so Jillian,
Well, maybe
that's
we
okay.
could still see the screen without hearing. That might be still helpful.
So recommendation, Jillian, if you click anywhere on your screen, there's the bar should pop up down below, Nay?
She may be having problems. I had problems with my laptop last week, and I had to get it replaced. So, and that's okay. We're putting her on the spot, so I don't want to put her on the spot, and that's okay. However, I do think that we can do some more specific Zurn learning later on in a future one of these sessions. And and like you said, there's a lot of Zurn possibilities online. Specifically, I wanted to ask Tracy if you knew or not about Zurn. Mina said that she's having some trouble. She has some ELLs, some English language learners that are having trouble understanding the content of Zurn's videos. Does anyone know if those videos are in, are they translated into another language? Does anyone know if they're translated?
I do not know offhand. I'm searching the resources page. I'm going to do a search and see what resources they might have in Spanish.
Okay. All right. So while you're doing that, I'm also going to move it on to, and we had another question from, where was I here? If I'm skipping you, I'm sorry. I'm doing my best to keep up with the chat questions. Rachel was saying that she's looking for a good program where she can pull a certain math strand, create a mini lesson via video, and then assign a specific assignment to all students. So I would really recommend that you look at Seesaw, and I would recommend that you look at Flipgrid. And those are two platforms that are really, really good. And they give you the capability to create a video, a mini lesson for your students, assign it to them, and then you can pull other lessons from different places. I think you can do it on Google Classroom as well, but Flipgrid and Seesaw are just very convenient platforms, and we've played around a lot with them the last couple of weeks. And the ed tech coaches are doing a training on Flipgrid coming up at 11:30, just in about 13 minutes. So you can check that out if you'd like to learn more about Flipgrid. Also, Flipgrid does great trainings every day. They have really good trainings. Go to the Flipgrid. Just go to the Flipgrid website and you'll see that there.
I am unfortunately not finding anything about Spanish resources. I will write that down and try to get back to the group, though.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. So Anthony asked, are we having these available Hangouts next? Are these Hangouts available next week? I don't think there's anything planned for next week, but Anthony, if you'd like to do a Zoom meet with me or with somebody else, then please, just please email me and we can do a Zoom meeting. We have a lot of questions about Zurn.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm not an expert in Zurn, and the reason is because I don't have a class to teach. It looks like we need to put together some training specifically on Zurn. Jillian put a great Zurn page. Fantastic. And Carmen said with Flipgrid, you can make 10-minute videos, while on Seesaw, it's 5 minutes. So Seesaw's time limits are a little bit shorter. That's great. There's different advantages to each one. So I've seen them both work really, really well. Okay.
Laura, what is your Zurn question? Oh, is there a way to move levels up? Yes. I can share my screen and show that again. So I'm going to present now my entire screen and get into my my Zurn account. So when I am looking at my roster, you'll see that I'm on roster. It's yellow up here. So when I'm looking at my class list, I can see what grade level, what mission, and what lesson they're on over here. And this is just a fake class. So your students will probably be on different lessons all over the place as they go at their own pace. But I can choose a student here, click on their name, go up above to above the first and last name title and click change lesson. And here I could scoot them back a grade level. I could scoot them up a mission or back a mission, and I could even change their topic. So it's within your roster that you can change where your students are. I hope that was helpful.
Fantastic. Okay. All right, fantastic. Then there was a couple of more questions here, it looks like. Rachel wants to know about Flipgrid. I'm looking for which math program is conducive to that method. What's better or easier, Khan or Zurn? Well, I think again they're both a little bit different. I don't know if they're better. Which one's better or easier? I don't know. I don't know how to answer that exactly. They're both good programs. They both teach the concepts and standards.
Can I clarify my question a little bit?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is I have some things that are working well for like adaptive general work where I can send kids for practice on something that's the right level for them. Doing that a couple days a week. I'd like to be able to then focus on some more direct instruction, pick a strand or pick a skill, let's say fractions on a number line, something like that.
Right.
Where would you think would be an efficient place to send us? Would it be Khan, which I have some experience with, or maybe some other place? What's a good place to be able to go easily pick topics and sort of focus my mini lesson from that, and then be able to send them to a little bit of work or a video or something to go with my mini lesson on that subject?
Okay, so let me just ask you so your idea is you want to create do you want to do direct instruction that's live, or do you want to do asynchronous instruction? So you're going to create a mini lesson and then students are going to watch it at their pace. Is that what you're going to do?
Right, more so the latter, but I don't need help with that method of delivery.
I understand. Yeah. So then you want to send them somewhere to practice the thing that you're teaching. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think that they're both great. I don't have a recommendation for either Khan or Zurn over those two things. I mean, Khan Academy, I think, is much more it's much more standards based. In other words, like you can just go to Khan Academy and say, I want you to work on, third grade, whatever addition or multiplication or whatever the standard is you're working on. You could go to Khan Academy, and there they'd also have more supports and videos, but they have the same thing in Zurn. So I would try it out and see which one works the best for you. I'm trying to think, would you be assigning those through like Flipgrid, for example?
Yeah, right now I'm using Google Classroom, but my hope is to get a little bit better on Flipgrid to be able to do it that way too. Right.
So I think that you should try them out. I don't have a recommendation of one over the other, and I'm not sure if I can't think of a reason to give one over the other necessarily.
Okay, no other program pops into mind.
I thought Brenda brought up a good point in the chat that Khan seems to be for things that you already know and just kind of review.
Yeah.
Whereas Zurn is good for new instruction.
Can I also interject? I've used both Zurn and Khan, but it also depends on your student's grade level, because like right now I'm teaching kinder, and I looked at the level and shapes for both Khan and Zurn. And Zurn I thought was more geared towards younger kids because it has fluency practice with the lessons themselves interwoven. The fluency practice is interwoven in between the lesson itself that they present. While with Khan, it tends to be a little more dry in a sense that you just get the video, the practice, and the video, the practice, and so it's more conducive towards older grades. While Zurn, I would say it would be towards the younger grades. At least that's my opinion.
Great. Okay, fantastic.
Thank you.
Does that help you, Rachel?
Yeah, thank you. It's a good place to start. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. Let me ask, how are teachers communicating with students? And does anyone have a preference has anyone tried using Zoom? Let me ask that. Just put it out there. Is anyone using Zoom? And you can answer in your chat if you'd like. Any ideas on Zoom? So one of the things that we were playing with yesterday was using Zoom for, oh yeah, oh great, we're getting lots of chats now. That's great. Lots of answers. That's good.
Yeah, share what we tried to do yesterday with a number talk. That was really useful.
Yeah, I want to do that for sure. Let me see here if I can get on here. For some reason, oh, here I am. Okay. So I wanted to show that there's some great stuff that you can do with Zoom because it has this feature where you can break out. You can do breakout groups. And I think that's really great. Just a few hints when you're using Zoom. You want to go through your Clever account. It's linked to Clever, and you should go through Clever. And the reason has to do with security. Apparently, Clever provides some privacy and security. Yeah, and that Zoom gives you more control. The conference that's exactly right. You can mute or unmute students, whereas in the Google Meet, there's a few more. The students seem to have a little bit more control. I'm going to share my screen with you and see if this works. Let's see if I can do this. I wanted to do, yes, this is my Zoom meeting right here. Is this it? Come on. What happened?
We can see your screen, but just your avatar.
It's just me, right?
Just
Yeah.
as a reminder for teachers, you can access Zoom through Clever. If you try accessing Zoom outside of Clever, there are some security issues. So when you use Zoom, please go through Clever to use it.
Yep. Okay, so let me just show you this here, and here we go. So this is my video for Zoom, and I don't know why it's not showing me right now. Oh, I know why, because my camera is recording me on this meeting, so it won't show me. But what I wanted to show you was that down here, if you go down to this part right here where it says more, you can put students into breakout rooms. And the breakout rooms are really cool. I don't have any participants right now, but it will automatically put students into breakout rooms, and you can go and visit the breakout rooms. It's very cool. And you can kind of pop into the different breakout rooms. You can also call the students back from the breakout rooms. There's a lot of different, so it's a great resource for you to use if you want to have students, if you're doing a live instruction and you want students to do group work, you can easily do that with Zoom. And oh, there's so much to show. I would love to show more, but I think we'd have to do an actual meeting because as I can see, I can't show you that because I'm already showing you myself on the other screen. So that's not going to work. Okay, it was my idea, but it didn't work. Never mind.
But a neat feature when we did this in Zoom yesterday was when we gave our math answers, when I typed my answer into the chat, it was only going to the teacher. So you can set up the chat so that it's private to only you. And so your students might be more encouraged to participate in a live lesson so that they wouldn't be judged by their other classmates. They could just give their answer to you.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff on there. So yeah, by the way, I know that teachers are going to be going to their classrooms. It might be a good time to grab one of these nice whiteboards that you might have so you can do some number talks in your when you do some of your live teaching. We did a number talk yesterday, and that was a lot of fun. So just a lot of great playing around we can do. Share whiteboard. So Laura was talking about share whiteboard on Zoom. Yeah. So one of the things about Zoom is that you have to go into the settings, and when you go into the settings, there's just an outrageous amount of different things that you can do. So check the settings on there. Thanks, Laura, for that.
Is settings where you set up the private chat also?
Yeah. So when you go onto your Zoom, you create a Zoom account through Clever. Let's see here. Here's my Clever account. I'm going to go to Clever. Oh, that's not it. Hold on a second here. Here's my Clever account. Jeep. And I'm going to go back here, share my screen. too much stuff going on here.
Chris, I do want to do a time check real quick, and because I know there's the Seesaw presentation happening at 11:30.
Oh, we're done. Oh my gosh, it's 11:30 already. Sorry.
But we do want to let teachers know also that we do plan on continuing office hours the following week after spring break. I'll be checking in with the coaches later on today about potential opportunities during next week spring break, but that's going to hinge on a variety of different things. And in addition, what Chris was just talking about with doing some number talks using Zoom, we're talking about setting up a little PD where you guys are the class and we can actually go through that process together. So we're going to be designing something like that for the following week.
Yeah, I'm okay going over. I can see there's some questions we didn't get to answer, and I don't have to. I know that Tracy wanted to go to the Flipgrid presentation starting.
Yeah.
Anybody else who wants to go to Flipgrid, please go ahead and go. Maybe we should stop the recording, or maybe not. We can just keep recording and keep going. I wanted to answer. Mr. Bodell had a question here about can students access the MyMath books and work online? And the answer is yes, they actually can, but it's a very clumsy online platform. And right, they would have to print pages. They don't have to print out pages, but the way that they would do the work is they would kind of use like this really clumsy digital pen, which doesn't work that well. And also you can't see anything that the students are doing. So your response was worthless. I'd say it's of little worth. It's of little worth. So I think that's the big trick right now is how are we going to deal with all the teachers who are using MyMath? The books, great. You send them home, fantastic. And kids can certainly do the work, but then we're going to have to combine the MyMath books with some kind of platform so that you can help them, when they need help. So there's some different ideas, and also check progress. So using Google Classroom, using Seesaw, using Flipgrid, using a Zoom meeting to do that. Those are all ideas that we have that would be helpful. And I wanted to just throw out a couple ideas, and we can talk about more of these later on, but in the future, scheduling some different things, maybe scheduling some regular office hours, office hours for kids who need help. If you schedule it, Tuesday at 11 and Thursday at 11, students can pop into your Zoom meeting and you could give them some online help, just some kind of like tutoring almost, I think that's one of the options that we could have. So that would be a great thing. You could also set up some small groups. Like, for example, if you do a Zoom meeting or a Google Classroom meeting, twice a week or whatever, you could say, and then after this meeting, I'd like to work with student A, B, C, and D because I want to do some small group instruction with them. So that's another possibility. One other thing I wanted to put out there as far as meetings is it would be a really good idea to have a parent meeting at some point. Maybe just one or two, but as we're getting this whole online platform thing rolling, parents are going to have a lot of little kinks they might want to work out, and it might be good to just meet with all your parents once and talk about, whatever questions they have. So a couple of ideas there: a parent meeting, doing office hours that are regularly scheduled for your students who might just want to check in and need a little help on their math or whatever, and then also doing small group instruction after whole class live instruction. So these are all ideas for live synchronous instruction using either Zoom or Google Meet. Can I post instruction on how to do a breakout room on Zoom? Yes. I think what we're going to do is we're going to make some movies, little film clips about how do we do all this stuff. But Zoom does have a lot of good resources. Tracy's gone, but anyways, yeah. Okay. And Brenda, the private chat is, I think we'll have to just make some little movies. It's over, and there's a lot of options on Zoom, so play around with it. Yes, great. Okay. Janet asked, in MyMath, there is a presentation that can be shown to students if you share your screen in a Zoom meeting. Ah, okay. That's encouraging. I need to write that down. Just remember that. Okay. So you could share, that's a good point. You could share your screen in a Zoom meeting. Yeah, certainly. And that's a good point. Okay, great. Great. Fantastic. Thank you. That's a really good idea. Okay. Okay. And Laura, you still were asking about how to level up on Zurn, but I don't have the drop-down menus. Okay. I don't have the answer to that one. I'm really sorry. Hard to have a parent meeting when most of my parents speak only Spanish. Okay. How do Spanish-speaking parents communicate with schools normally? You know, I mean, there might be an older sibling that can help out. I can see that that could be an issue, but I would still think it would be worth trying. Great. Okay. It looks like people are leaving. I think we're done. So thank you, everyone, for your attendance. And please feel free to email us with any other questions. And also, take care of yourselves. Don't put too much pressure on yourselves to learn all these new platforms, et cetera, et cetera. You know, take your time. We're doing our very best. And try not to stress yourselves out. Thank you very much. We're going to stop the recording now, I think. No?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Stop.